Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Eat Wheaties. And this is a new comedy from director Scott Abramotive, who wrote and directed this new comedy about a man named Sid Straw, who realizes, like, hey, I was friends with Elizabeth Banks. Yes, that Elizabeth Banks, the actress, back in college. And he tries real hard to try to get her to come to their college reunion for Penn. And he starts posting into Facebook, trying to message her, but not realizing that he's posting on her wall. So this is all public. And he starts reaching out to her agent, trying to get a signed photograph for his brother's birthday, and all these different things. And you start to see how Sid tries way too hard to try to connect in a new relationship with his brother and his sister-in-law, with his parents, and his friend from college. And you have all these different kinds of relationships to build up that Sid's a little awkward. And he's trying to figure out things in life, and through these little letters that he's writing on Elizabeth Banks' wall on Facebook, he is growing through them. And this film is an interesting setup, obviously, and in many ways, I think why this film doesn't work as well as it could is because it's just too mean. Because, yes, Sid's awkward, but this film disproportionately punishes him for that. And then just plays off a lot of his redemptive arc and payback as just silly. And the tricky thing is, so many of the things that happens to him are so disproportionately mean and uncomfortable that it's just like, why are we punishing him so much for this? And it just feels awkward in many ways, and not in a purposeful and funny way. It just feels really sad. And like, I was surprised that I connected with this movie so much in terms of I really felt for Sid. And I think it's because the movie is so mean to him. And like, you have Tony Hale playing Sid. And Tony Hale is so great, whether he's Buster Bluth, or he's from his character in Veep, or he's Forky, because trash. And you have him in this film, and he balances this like a quiet, stern kind of outlook on life, and this awkward, trying too hard atmosphere. And he's just awkward and funny, and can be intense, and can be honestly strong in moments. And Tony Hale does all these different kinds of things with this role that brings a lot of depth to Sid Straw and makes for an interesting protagonist. And I really cared about him. And you have the whole rest of the cast here. Alan Tudyk being his friend from college, who's very fun, and like most of his additions to this film as like a harsh like perspective for Sid to see, and he's mostly used for laughs. You have Sarah Chalk, who is the agent to Elizabeth Banks, who is kind of cruel and just outright dismissive. You have Danielle Brooks, who plays a waitress, who honestly has a nice little endearing developing relationship with him throughout the film. Paul Walter Hauser is an interesting kind of side plot of a lawyer who tries to help him out when he gets a restraining order, and he has his whole entire arc of like, he got his degree online, and his wife is there taking care of their 2 infant kids while he's doing his cases. And you're having these moments, and you have a really stacked cast of characters. You have David Walton, who plays his brother, and just this cast is really committed. It gives a lot of fun and engaging performances, but the story feels really cliched and silly in a way that's strange because I don't think you usually see a story quite like this. And you feel for his character because the movie is too mean to him. And then there's definitely moments that feel like they resolve themselves way too easily and resolve themselves way too quickly. And towards the end of the film, I feel like there's definitely some nice moments that really stand out in terms of redemption for him. But I also feel like some of the moments get undercut by the humor. And which is tough because, this is a comedy, but there are moments that really focus on the emotions and really work because of it. And then some of the biggest moments that should have don't work as well because they did focus too much on the humor. And in the end, I think that Eat Wheaties is a fun time with Tony Hale definitely killing it in this role. And I really enjoyed this film quite a bit. Even if it's not the strongest of comedies, it's still something by the end I really felt for Sid Straw and wanted him to succeed. But those are my thoughts on Eat Wheaties. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.